The massive crystalline dome of the Galactic Council chamber loomed over Ambassador Thomas Reed, the lone human representative standing on the circular platform. Thousands of alien delegates from 300 species filled the tiered seating, their murmurs echoing through the vast space. High Counselor Vextar, a towering blue-skinned being with compound eyes, struck a resonating gong. The species known as humanity stands accused of technological acceleration beyond authorized parameters, Vextar announced, voice amplified throughout the chamber. Evidence shows humans have developed quantum folding technology independently, violating Statute 7 of Species Development Protocols. Reed stood tall despite his comparative smallness. The Galactic Council has restricted humanity's access to basic terraforming technology for a century, while permitting it to others. We adapted out of necessity, not defiance. Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing Earth's secret quantum laboratories. A serpentine counselor hissed, "They conceal weapons development." "Not weapons," Reed countered, activating his own hologram showing quantum medical applications. "Healing technology. We've developed methods to repair cellular damage at the quantum level." The council erupted in disbelief. Vextar silenced them with a gesture. "Such technology threatens the balance of power. The vote shall commence." As alien representatives cast their votes, Reed noticed the subtle exchanges between certain council members, prearranged signals. He recognized the pattern from human diplomatic history. This trial was decided before it began. The final vote glowed, ominously in the chamber's center. 278 to 22 for banishment. Humanity is hereby banished. Beyond the outer rim, declared Vextar, all human vessels must depart council space within one galactic cycle. Any remaining will be considered hostile. Reed's voice cut through the chamber. "You fear what you don't understand. But remember this moment. Because humanity doesn't break under pressure, we transform." His words hung in the air as guards escorted him out. The shuttle ride back to the Earth Embassy was silent. Reed stared through the viewport at the gleaming spires of Galaxis Prime, the Council's capital world. 30 years of human integration into galactic society, erased in a single session. His aide, Darius, finally broke the silence. "Sir, Earth Command is requesting immediate communication." "Put them through," Reed said, straightening his formal diplomatic attire. The hologram of General Maria Vega materialized. Her face was stern, but Reed could see the concern in her eyes. "Ambassador, we've received the news. The Emergency Council has convened." "It was rigged from the start, General," Reed said. "They've been planning this for years. The quantum technology was just an excuse." "That confirms our intelligence," Vega nodded. "Protocol Diaspora is now active. Return to Earth immediately." Reed's eyes widened. "Already? We still have one galactic cycle, about 3 Earth months, before the banishment is enforced. We've been preparing for this possibility for a decade, Ambassador. The first colony ships are already loaded." The General's image flickered. "There's something else." The Taurians reached out through back channels. They want to meet. The Taurians, peaceful, four-armed beings known for their neutrality, had been among the few to vote against humanity's banishment. "Where?" "Their embassy. Tonight, their Chief Emissary claims they have critical information. I'll be there." The Taurian embassy was deliberately modest compared to the grand structures of older council species. Chief Emissary Kor greeted Reed in the garden, all forearms raised in the traditional gesture of peace. "Ambassador Reed, I apologize for what happened today." Kor's voice was melodic, translated through the small device at Reed's ear. "Thank you for your support in the vote." "Chief Emissary," Kor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "It was not enough. But we have not brought you here merely to sympathize. What I am about to share violates several council directives." The Taurian looked around nervously. The banishment vote was orchestrated by the Hegemony Alliance. Reed tensed. The Hegemony, comprised of the 7 oldest council species, had always viewed humanity with suspicion. "They fear human adaptability," Kor continued. "Your species advances in decades what took others centuries. But there's more. They know about Admiral Winters." Reed maintained his poker face, though internally he was shocked. Admiral Elisa Winters headed Earth's secret fleet construction program, building vessels far beyond officially sanctioned technology levels. "How much do they know?" Not everything, but enough to be concerned. They believe you have been building warships. The banishment is their solution. Force humans to the lawless rim where survival is nearly impossible. Reed nodded slowly. And why are the Taurians telling me this? Kor moved closer. Because we need allies against the hegemony's growing power. They have begun limiting our rights as well. We cannot oppose them openly, but we can help you. The Taurian handed Reed a small data crystal. Navigational charts for the outer rim, including locations of habitable systems the Council has kept off official records. Why would they hide habitable systems? Resources. The rim contains rare elements crucial for advanced technology. The hegemony has been secretly mining these areas for millennia. Reed carefully pocketed the crystal. This changes our plans considerably. There is one more thing, Kor said. Some of us will find ways to maintain contact with humanity. You will not be entirely alone out there. Back on Earth, chaos and order coexisted in the strangest ways. The public announcement of banishment had caused initial panic, but humanity's resilience quickly emerged. The streets of New Geneva were crowded but purposeful, as Reed made his way to the United Earth Government headquarters. Inside the crisis chamber, Admiral Elisa Winters was addressing the assembled leaders. A tall woman with gray-streaked black hair, and the bearing of someone who had spent her life preparing for this exact moment. Protocol Diaspora is 20% complete, she reported as Reed entered. 40 colony ships are already beyond Council detection range, heading for the coordinates we previously identified. Reed took his seat. I have new information that changes our strategy. All eyes turned to him as he inserted the Taurian data crystal into the central display. Star maps blossomed in the air, with dozens of systems highlighted. These are habitable systems in the outer rim, deliberately kept off Council charts. They're resource-rich and strategically positioned. Winters studied the map, her expression shifting from concern to something approaching satisfaction. This confirms what our exploratory mission suspected. She pointed to a particular system. This one, these readings suggest massive deposits of quantum reactive materials. Exactly what we need for the new drive systems. The UEG president, an older man named Alvarez, leaned forward. So the Council has not only banished us but has unwittingly directed us to exactly where we need to be. It seems so. Reed nodded. They expect us to struggle for survival in the barren rim. They don't know we're well prepared, and now we know where to go. Winters highlighted several systems on the map. I recommend we adjust our colony ship destinations to these primary locations. We can establish our first major settlement here, in the Nexus system. Agreed, Alvarez said, but we must accelerate the evacuation. Intelligence suggests the Council may not honor the full galactic cycle they promised. They could move against Earth directly once they realize how prepared we are. Reed considered this. They'll be monitoring our official shipyards and spaceports. How do we move billions of people without them noticing? Winters smiled slightly. We've been building evacuation centers disguised as deep Earth habitation projects for years. The shuttles use stealth technology to reach the colony ships waiting in the outer solar system. And the colony ships themselves? Reed asked. Much more advanced than the Council realizes. They believe our fastest ships travel at standard FTL. The new fleet is capable of quantum folding, jumping vast distances without traditional FTL signatures. It's why they were so alarmed by our quantum research. President Alvarez stood up. Then we proceed at maximum speed. Prioritize essential personnel, then general population. We leave no one behind. As the meeting continued, Reed watched the simulation of humanity's greatest migration. Strange, he thought, how the Council's attempt to eliminate humanity as a threat might instead create exactly what they feared, a united, determined human civilization beyond their control. 1 month later, Reed stood on the observation deck of the command ship Pathfinder, watching Earth grow smaller. Already, over 4 billion humans had been evacuated through the secret program, with more leaving every day. Council observers remained oblivious to the scale of the operation, focusing their attention on the official spaceports where carefully orchestrated evacuation efforts served as a distraction. Admiral Winters joined him at the viewport. The first colonies report successful establishment. The Taurian data was accurate. These systems are perfect for our needs, and the Council still believes we're struggling to organize. Their patrol ships have intercepted a few of our decoy vessels, exactly as planned. They think we're desperate and disorganized. Reed nodded. How long until complete evacuation? At current rates, we'll have the remaining population out 2 weeks before the deadline. The final phase includes removing all evidence of our advanced technology from Earth. We'll leave them an MPT. Captain Marcus Drake stood on the bridge of the colony ship Horizon, staring at the view screen with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Before them floated an enormous space station, its angular structure stretching nearly 10 kilometers across. Ancient symbols covered its surface, and despite showing signs of abandonment, it still maintained a faint power signature. How long has it been here? He asked his science officer. Lieutenant Talia Rivera studied her readouts. Based on dust accumulation and orbital decay patterns, approximately 12,000 years. It predates Council records of this region. Life signs? None detected. Environment systems appear operational in some sections. Drake ran a hand through his short brown hair. The Exodus fleet had been traveling for 2 months since leaving Earth, pushing deeper into the uncharted territories of the Outer Rim. This was the first significant discovery, and potentially the first stroke of luck for humanity's displaced. Billions, prepare an exploration team, he ordered. I want to know if this station is usable. As the crew prepared, Drake opened a channel to Fleet Command. Admiral Winter's face appeared on the screen, looking tired but alert. Admiral, we found something. Her eyes widened as he transferred the visual data. A station that size could house thousands. Is it secure? Unknown yet. We're investigating now. If it's viable, it could serve as a waypoint while we establish the main colonies. Proceed with caution, Captain. We've detected unusual activity in nearby sectors. Council scout ships have been spotted, and we've lost contact with 3 of our rear vessels. Drake frowned. They're following us? The banishment allowed us passage to the rim. The Council never expected us to survive the journey. Our success threatens their narrative. Her image flickered. There's more. We've identified sabotage attempts across the fleet. The Council embedded agents among our population. We'll increase security protocols. And Admiral, if this station proves viable, we might have found our first real foothold in the rim. The station's interior was a maze of vast hallways and cavernous chambers. Drake led the exploration team personally, his footsteps echoing on metal floors that hadn't felt human presence before. These markings are unlike anything in Council records, Rivera said, scanning symbols etched into the walls. Definitely not from any known species. The team reached a central chamber where dormant control panels lined the walls. Drake approached cautiously, running his hand over the dust-covered surface. Can we activate it? Rivera nodded. The power systems are compatible with our technology. It's almost as if what? As if it was designed to be easily understood by different species. Universal design principles. Drake made the decision. Power it up. The team connected their portable generators. For a moment, nothing happened. Then with a deep hum, lights flickered to life across the chamber. Holographic displays activated, showing star charts of the surrounding sectors. It's a navigation hub, Rivera breathed. And look, these highlighted systems match our colony destination sites from the Taurian data. Drake studied the displays. Whoever built this station knew the value of those systems. This confirms we're on the right track. He activated his comm. Drake to Horizon. The station is operational. Begin docking procedures for preliminary occupation. As the words left his mouth, alarms blared through the station. Red warning symbols flashed across the displays. What's happening? Drake demanded. Rivera worked frantically at the controls. External sensors detecting multiple ships entering the sector. Configuration matches. Council enforcement vessels, how many? 12 ships. Heavy cruiser class. Drake's mind raced. The Horizon was a colony ship, not a warship. The rest of the Exodus fleet was scattered across several light years, escorting civilians to various colony sites. Activate the station's defensive systems if they exist, he ordered. And get me a direct channel to the lead Council vessel. On the bridge of the Council enforcement cruiser Righteous Judgment, Commander Valkus sneered at the human's face on his view screen. Captain Drake, your presence here violates Council directives, the reptilian commander said. The terms of banishment specified the furthest reaches of the rim, not its valuable central territories. Drake maintained a neutral expression. Commander, we are still in transit to our final destination. This station provides necessary respite for our civilian passengers. A convenient excuse. Our intelligence suggests you intend to establish permanent settlements in resource-rich systems. This station will be confiscated and your fleet redirected to approved territories. The station is abandoned property, Commander. Council law permits salvage rights to discoverers of derelict structures. Valkus hissed in annoyance. Those laws apply to Council species. Humanity is banished. You have no rights under Council law. Then we have no obligation to follow Council directives either, Drake replied. You can't have it both ways, Commander. You will comply or face immediate destruction. Your colony ships are undefended. The transmission ended abruptly. Drake turned to his security chief. Status of the station systems? We've activated an energy shield. It's old but powerful. Should hold against initial bombardment. No weapon systems detected yet. Drake nodded grimly. We need time for reinforcements to arrive. Transmit distress signal to all nearby human vessels. Deep in the station's core, Rivera had made a discovery. A sealed chamber containing what appeared to be the station's main control systems. As she worked to access it, her scanner detected movement behind a wall panel. Security team to my location, she called into her comm. Possible contact. Before her security arrived, the panel slid open. Rivera raised her weapon, then froze in shock. A humanoid figure emerged, its body seemingly composed of translucent crystalline structures. It regarded her with glowing eyes. You activated the station, it said, its voice resonating oddly. Who are you? Rivera asked, keeping her weapon ready. Caretaker, the being replied. Long dormant. Station defenders. Defenders? We need defense now. There are hostile ships outside, the being tilted its head. Hostiles? Attempt to claim. Precursor technology. Yes, they want to take the station from us. The crystalline being moved past her toward the control panel. Station purpose, sanctuary for persecuted species. Defense protocols available. On the bridge of the horizon, Drake watched in astonishment as Rivera's report came through. A living caretaker? Are you certain? It's some kind of synthetic organic hybrid, her voice came through the comm. It says the station was built as a refuge for species facing extinction or persecution. Before Drake could respond, the tactical officer shouted, Council vessels are powering weapons. Evasive maneuvers! Get our civilians deeper into the station. The first volley from the Council ship struck the station's shield, which flared brilliant blue but held firm. The horizon, still partially exposed during docking procedures, took a glancing hit to its port side. Suddenly, the station itself seemed to come alive. Sections of its exterior reconfigured, revealing defense systems that had been dormant for millennia. Energy beams lanced out, striking two Council vessels with devastating precision. What's happening? Drake demanded. Rivera's excited voice came through. The caretaker activated the defense systems. Captain, this station isn't just a waypoint, it's a fortress. The Council ships, clearly surprised by the unexpected resistance, began to pull back. Drake seized the opportunity. Open a channel to Commander Valkus. The reptilian commander appeared on screen, his scales flushed with anger. Your unprovoked attack has activated this station's automated defense systems, Drake said calmly. As you can see, they're quite effective. I suggest you withdraw before more of your ships are damaged. This isn't over, human, Valkus snarled. The Council will not allow you to claim precursor technology. We claimed nothing. We were invited in. It seems this station was designed for exactly our situation. Perhaps the Council should reconsider who really has the right to be here. 2 weeks later, the station, now renamed Haven, had become the central coordination point for humanity's colonization efforts. Over 30 colony ships had docked, with thousands of humans beginning to inhabit the vast structure. Admiral Winters arrived on her command ship, meeting with Drake in what had once been the precursor station's observation deck. Through the massive viewport, they could see the first human settlement taking shape on a nearby moon. The Council is in disarray over this, Winters said. Their attempt to eliminate us has instead led us to technology they've sought for centuries. Drake nodded. The caretaker has revealed much about the precursors. They built these stations throughout the rim as sanctuaries for species facing extinction. There are more out there, a network we can use. And the attempted sabotage? We've identified 12 Council agents embedded within the civilian population. They're being contained. Winters looked out at the stars of the outer rim. The Council expected us to scatter and struggle for survival. Instead, we found allies and technology they never anticipated. What about the colony ships that were lost? Winter's expression darkened. 3 were destroyed by Council forces before we could intervene. Nearly 15,000 lives lost. The Council claims it was a miscommunication, unauthorized actions by overzealous commanders. They're testing our resolve, Drake said. Dr. Lyra Keyes stood at the viewport of her laboratory on Nova Terra, the largest human settlement in the Nexus system. 10 years had passed since humanity's banishment to the Outer Rim. Outside, a bustling city stretched toward the horizon, gleaming buildings rising beneath the light of a blue-white star. Ships of various designs crossed the sky, some human, others belonging to the native species of the Rim who had become allies and trading partners. Behind her, suspended in a containment field, a complex lattice of light and energy pulsed with a gentle rhythm. This was the culmination of her life's work, perfected quantum healing technology that could repair cellular damage at the molecular level. Final sequence complete, announced her assistant. Davis, calibration at 100%. Begin the demonstration, Lyra instructed. A hologram activated, showing representatives from various human settlements and allied Rim species watching from remote locations. Admiral Winters, now Governor Winters of the United Rim Territories, nodded to Lyra from the central feed. Distinguished observers, Lyra began. 10 years ago, the Galactic Council banished humanity for developing quantum technology they deemed too dangerous. Today we demonstrate why that technology was worth protecting. She gestured to a medical pod where a patient lay, an elderly man with severe radiation burns from an accident at the orbital shipyards. This patient has suffered level 4 radiation damage to 60% of his cellular structure. Conventional medicine gives him weeks to live. Lyra activated the quantum matrix. The lattice of light extended tendrils that enveloped the medical pod. Inside, the patient's damaged tissues began to glow. The quantum field identifies damaged cellular patterns and reconstructs them according to the patient's original genetic template, she explained. It doesn't just heal, it restores. After 5 minutes, the field retracted. Medical scans displayed on screens around the laboratory showed healthy tissue where burns had been. Complete cellular restoration, Davis confirmed, his voice reflecting the awe they all felt, despite having developed the technology. No trace of radiation damage. The observers erupted in excited discussion. Governor Winters silenced them with a raised hand. Dr. Keyes, the implications of this technology are enormous, not just for medicine, but for our future in the Rim. Yes, Governor. The principles can be applied to agriculture, environmental restoration, even spacecraft repair. The quantum matrices can restore any damaged pattern to its original state. An alien representative, a Vosian with iridescent skin, leaned forward. Will humanity share this technology with your allies in the Rim? Lyra looked to Winters, who nodded. Yes. The Vosian plague affecting your southern continent can be addressed with modified versions of this technology. We begin treatments next month. The Vosian skin flickered with patterns expressing profound gratitude. What the Council feared, we have made reality, Lyra concluded, but not as a weapon, as a tool for survival and prosperity. In the decade since their arrival, humanity had transformed the Outer Rim. What began as a desperate exile had become an opportunity. 7 major colony worlds now thrived, connected by a network of precursor stations similar to Haven. The once lawless territories had structure and governance through the United Rim Territories, a coalition of human settlements, and allied species who had long existed beyond. Council control in orbit around Nova Terra. The shipyards produced vessels far more advanced than anything humanity had built on Earth. Commander James Riker inspected the newest addition to the defense fleet, the URT Defiance, a warship incorporating both human ingenuity and precursor technology. She's ready for her final trials, said the shipyard director, walking alongside him on the observation deck. Riker nodded, studying the sleek lines of the ship. Unlike the utilitarian vessels they'd fled Earth with, this was a ship designed with confidence and purpose. Time to departure? 72 hours. Your crew is boarding now. Good. The Council patrols have been pushing closer to our border systems. We need to show them we can defend what we've built here. As they spoke, a smaller vessel docked alongside the Defiance. It bore no official markings, one of the legendary rim runners that smuggled goods and people between rim territories and council space. Your passenger has arrived, the director noted. Riker watched as a hooded figure disembarked from the rim runner ship. Our guest from council space. Right on schedule. In her office at the heart of Nova Terra's government complex, Governor Winters reviewed intelligence reports with her security chief. Holographic displays showed council fleet movements and diplomatic communications intercepted by human intelligence networks. They're becoming more concerned, Winters observed. 10 years of expecting our extinction only to discover we're thriving. There's more, the security chief said. Our agents report the hegemony is facing internal pressure. Several mid-tier council species are questioning the decision to banish humanity, especially as reports of our medical breakthroughs reach them. And the Taurians? Still our most reliable allies within the council. They've established regular communication through the Rim Runner network. Winters considered this information. At 65, her hair had gone completely white, but her mind remained sharp as ever. The crisis of banishment had forged her into the leader humanity needed. Pragmatic, forward-thinking, and unwavering. The council made a fundamental miscalculation, she said finally. They assumed isolation would weaken us. Instead, it forced us to become stronger and more self-sufficient than we ever would have under their restrictions. A soft chime interrupted them. Governor, Commander Riker reports the diplomatic passenger has arrived safely. Good. Bring them to the secure conference room. And contact Dr. Keyes. I want her present for this meeting. The hooded figure sat alone in the conference room when Winters arrived with Lyra and her security team. When the door sealed, the figure lowered his hood, revealing the distinctive four-eyed face of a Taurian. Emissary Torel, Winters greeted him. Welcome to Nova Terra, Governor Winters, Dr. Keyes. The Taurian bowed slightly. I bring urgent news from council space. The hegemony has learned of your quantum healing technology. They are disturbed by its implications. As they should be, Lyra said. We've accomplished in 10 years what they claimed was impossible. Or forbidden, Torel corrected. The hegemony has maintained power partly by controlling access to advanced medical technology. Your breakthroughs threaten that control. Winters leaned forward. What are they planning, emissary? The hegemony has authorized a special enforcement fleet. Not just to patrol the boundaries of the Rim, but to locate and eliminate key human settlements. His four eyes blinked in sequence. They will claim it's to prevent dangerous technology from spreading. The true purpose is to ensure humanity doesn't become a competing power. When will they move against us? The fleet is already assembling. You have perhaps 3 months. Torel placed a data crystal on the table. This contains their planned approach vectors and target list. Winters took the crystal. Why are you helping us, emissary? This is well beyond the unofficial assistance the Taurians have provided so far. Because the hegemony's power must be balanced. For too long, they have dictated council policy. Many species suffer under their restrictions. Torel's voice softened. And perhaps because in 10 years, humans have done more to help species in the Rim than the council did in centuries. The URT Defiance moved silently through fold space. Commander Riker standing watch on the bridge. This was the ship's first real mission, intercepting a council scout vessel that had penetrated deep into Rim territory. Target will emerge from FTL in 30 seconds, reported his tactical officer. Weapons on standby. Remember, we want to send a message, not start a war. The starfield before them distorted as a sleek council vessel emerged from FTL. Before it could activate its sensors, the Defiance decloaked directly in its path. Council vessel, Riker broadcast. You have entered United Rim territory space without authorization. Power down and prepare to be escorted to the boundary. The council ship, clearly surprised by both the intercept and the advanced human vessel, attempted to reverse course. The Defiance fired a precision shot across its bow. That was a warning, Riker continued. The next will disable your engines. After a tense moment, the council ship powered down its weapons. Human vessel, we are on a scientific survey mission authorized by council directive. This region is under URT jurisdiction. The council has no authority here. The Rim is designated for primitive species and outlaws. Human presence here is temporary and unauthorized. Riker smiled coldly. I invite you to look around, Council Vessel. Does this ship seem temporary to you? The Rim is our home now, and we will defend it. As if to emphasize his point, 4 more human ships decloaked nearby, surrounding the Council vessel. You may deliver that message to your superiors, Riker said. Now prepare to be escorted to the boundary. In a secret facility beneath Nova Terra's surface, Lyra worked with a team of scientists from various human colonies and allied Rim species. The chamber housed a massive device, far larger than the healing matrix she had demonstrated weeks earlier. The defense grid is theoretically sound, said her Vosian colleague, manipulating a holographic model. But we've never attempted quantum fields on this scale. The Prin. Jack Harper stood before the central chamber of the Outer Rim United Territories Congress, his voice carrying to representatives of 7 major human worlds and 12 allied species. 25 years had passed since humanity's banishment to the Rim. The desperate refugees had become architects of a new interstellar power. The policy of isolation has served us well, Harper said, his tall figure commanding attention, despite his relative youth. It allowed us to build our strength away from Council interference. But the galaxy is changing. The time has come to change with it. Born in exile on Haven Station, Harper had never seen Earth. Like an entire generation of Rim-born humans, he knew the homeworld only through stories and historical records. Yet he had risen to become the Orat's most influential diplomat. Council space is facing unprecedented challenges, he continued, gesturing to the holographic displays showing data from intelligence networks, resource shortages, political fractures, unexplained disappearances of outer systems, and most significantly, growing knowledge of our success here in the Rim. The chamber remained silent, captivated by the implications. Harper moved to his central point. I propose a formal diplomatic mission to Galaxis Prime, not as supplicants seeking forgiveness, but as representatives of a sovereign power offering assistance. The chamber erupted. Some representatives shouted approval, others voiced outrage. The Vosian delegation's skin flashed warning patterns. The human governor of Terra Nova stood, signaling for attention. Ambassador Harper, after what the Council did to us, banishment, attempted genocide, you propose we help them. Harper remained calm. I propose we show them what humanity has become. For 25 years, they've told their citizens we're struggling savages. Imagine their reaction when we arrive in ships more advanced than their own, offering solutions to problems they can't solve. The chamber quieted, considering his words. This isn't about revenge or reconciliation, Harper concluded. It's about reshaping the galactic order. The Council banished us, expecting us to vanish into history. Instead, we've built something they never imagined possible. Now it's time they faced that reality. Deep in Orat classified research territory, Admiral Reyna Vargas observed the final test of humanity's newest technological marvel. At 50, she had spent more years in the Rim than on Earth, rising through the ranks to command the Orat Defense Forces. Before her, a prototype ship hovered in a massive testing chamber. Unlike conventional vessels, it had no visible engines. Its hull shimmered with a faint iridescence, the outer layer of a quantum field matrix that had evolved far beyond Dr. Keyes's early designs. Begin fold sequence, Vargas ordered. Scientists at control stations initiated the test. The ship didn't accelerate in the traditional sense. Instead, space itself seemed to ripple around it. Then, with a flash of light that wasn't quite light, it vanished. Fold successful, reported the lead scientist. Transition was clean. Time to target? Vargas asked. 3 seconds to reach the Jupiter observation post. Vargas raised an eyebrow. 3 seconds? The Jupiter post is 17 light-years away. Yes, Admiral. That's approximately 5 times faster than our previous fold technology, and 20 times faster than Council FTL capabilities. Vargas absorbed this information. The new drive didn't just surpass Council technology. It rendered it obsolete. Recovery time? Virtually none. The ship can perform consecutive folds with only milliseconds between transitions. The implications were staggering. Such technology would revolutionize not just military capabilities, but trade, exploration, and colonization throughout the Rim and beyond. Has the Council detected anything? No, Admiral. The quantum signature is undetectable by their sensor technology. A chime sounded, receiving transmission from the Jupiter post. The ship has arrived successfully. Another chime followed almost immediately. "Ship is returning." The chamber flashed again as the prototype reappeared precisely where it had been. "Test complete," the scientist announced. "All systems nominal." Vargas nodded, satisfied. "Prepare a full report for the Strategic Council, and inform Ambassador Harper his timeline just accelerated. We're ready." In the deepest sector of the Outer Rim, beyond even the territories claimed by the Orot, Commander Elena Torres guided her exploration vessel through an asteroid field. Intelligence reports had noted strange energy, readings from this uncharted region, and the unexplained disappearance of 3 scout ships. "Sensors at maximum sensitivity," she instructed her science officer. "Whatever's out there, I want to know before it knows we're here." The ship, the Orot Pathfinder, represented the best of humanity's stealth technology. Its quantum-infused hull absorbed sensor scans rather than reflecting them, making it virtually invisible to conventional detection methods. "Commander," the science officer called, "I'm detecting unusual radiation patterns ahead. Similar to quantum fold signatures, but different." Torres frowned. "Different how?" "They're inverse. Instead of compressing space-time, these signatures appear to be expanding it," the navigation officer interrupted. "Commander, we're receiving a distress signal. It's faint, but it's definitely from one of our missing scout ships. Location? That's the strange part. It's coming from inside what appears to be a spatial distortion approximately 2 million kilometers ahead." Torres considered her options. The mission was already classified beyond normal parameters. Admiral Vargas had been explicit. "Investigate, but do not engage unknown forces. Take us closer, but maintain stealth protocols. Weapons on standby." As the Pathfinder approached the coordinates, the view screen showed something that defied explanation. A section of space appeared to be unraveling. Stars visible through the distortion were stretched and distorted, their light bent into impossible patterns. "What in hell is that?" Torres whispered. Before her science officer could respond, the ship's systems flickered. Alarms blared as external sensors detected an approaching object. Massive energy signature emerging from the distortion. The tactical officer shouted. Torres stared in disbelief as an enormous vessel emerged from the spatial anomaly. It resembled no ship design from any known species, council or rim. Its surface seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, and it radiated energy patterns unlike anything in their database. Evasive maneuvers. "Prepare emergency fold." The Pathfinder banked sharply, but the strange vessel emitted a pulse of energy that washed over them. Ship systems flickered again, more severely. "Fold drive offline." "We're being scanned. They've penetrated our stealth field." Torres made a split-second decision. Activate quantum burst transmitter. Send all sensor data back to command. Priority Alpha. As her crew scrambled to comply, Torres opened a direct channel to the strange vessel. "Unknown ship, this is Commander Torres of the Outer Rim United Territories. We are on a peaceful exploration mission." No response came through conventional communication channels. Instead, every screen on the bridge suddenly displayed the same symbol, a spiraling pattern that seemed to move despite being static. The science officer gasped. "Commander, I'm detecting quantum signatures identical to those recorded at the sites of missing council worlds." Torres felt a chill run down her spine. "Send the transmission now. Full emergency power to engines." At the Orot Strategic Council meeting on Novaterra, Ambassador Harper's diplomatic proposal was being finalized when Admiral Vargas burst into the chamber. "We have an emergency," she announced without preamble. "The Pathfinder has encountered an unknown vessel in the Deep Rim. Before losing contact, they transmitted data confirming our worst fears." The holographic display shifted to show the Pathfinder's final transmission, the strange vessel, emerging from the spatial distortion. This entity matches energy signatures detected at the locations of 7 council worlds that have gone silent in the past 3 years, Vargas continued. "We believe we've identified the cause of the disappearances." Harper studied the image intently. "What exactly are we looking at, Admiral?" "We're calling them void entities. They appear to exist partially outside normal space-time. Their technology allows them to create spatial rifts that can consume entire planetary systems." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. "Based on their movement patterns," Vargas continued, "we project they will reach populated rim territories within 6 months and council space within a year. Harper's diplomatic mission suddenly took on new urgency. They're a threat to the entire galaxy, Council and Rim alike. Yes, and there's more. Vargas hesitated. Analysis of long-range scans suggests the void entities are drawn to quantum energy signatures. The same signatures produced by our advanced technology. You're saying our development of quantum technology is attracting them? Asked the Nova Terra governor. No, Vargas said grimly. I'm saying they were already coming, and it's only our quantum technology that allows us to detect them at all. The Council can't even see what's consuming their outer worlds. Harper turned to the assembled representatives. This changes everything. We must contact the Council. The massive crystalline dome of the Galactic Council chamber loomed over Commander Diana Ray, just as it had loomed over Ambassador Reed 30 years earlier when humanity was banished. The chamber looked the same, tiered seating filled with representatives of hundreds of species, the central podium where judgments were pronounced, the ornate ceiling depicting the Council's founding races. But everything else had changed. Ray was not a lone figure like Reed had been. She stood with a delegation of 20, humans and allied Rim species. And they had not arrived on a Council transport under guard, but on their own vessel, the Auret Ascendant, a quantum-fold ship that had appeared in Galaxis Prime's orbit before the Council's defense grid even detected their approach. High Counselor Vextar, older now, but still imposing, struck the ceremonial gong. The sound reverberated through the chamber, quieting the murmurs of shock and disbelief. The delegation from the Outer Rim United Territories has been granted emergency audience, Vextar announced, struggling to maintain composure. The return of humans to Council space, powerful, advanced humans, had clearly shaken the Council leadership. Ray stepped forward. At 35, she had been born on the colony world of New Eden, a granddaughter of the original refugees. Earth was a place from history books to her. This gleaming Council capital was alien territory, the heart of the power that had tried to condemn her people to extinction. High Counselor, esteemed representatives, she began, her voice steady. 30 years ago, this Council banished humanity to the Outer Rim, believing it would be our death sentence. Today we return not seeking reinstatement, but offering salvation. The holographic display activated above the chamber's center, showing the data from Commander Torres's final transmission, the void entity emerging from its spatial distortion. This is the true enemy, Ray continued, an extra-dimensional force consuming worlds on the fringes of your territory. 7 Council worlds have already vanished. Alaris Prime, Ventus III, Kazara, Deneb Colony, Outpost 47 Tolkienar, and most recently, Thalos. Gasps and shouts erupted from representatives of those systems. The Council had kept the disappearances classified, telling the public these worlds had gone silent due to natural disasters or communication failures. How dare you spread panic with these fabrications, shouted a hegemony representative, a serpentine saurian who rose from his seat in apparent outrage. Ray remained calm. Ambassador Vorex, your own cousin, was governor of Thelos. You know I speak the truth. The chamber fell silent at this revelation. We call them void entities, Ray continued. They exist partially outside normal space-time, making them undetectable by conventional Council technology. But our quantum sensors can track them. She gestured to the holographic display, which shifted to show a galactic map with ominous red markers spreading in a pattern toward the Council's core worlds. Based on their current trajectory, they will reach major Council population centers within 8 months. Their consumption rate is accelerating. High Counselor Vextar's compound eyes narrowed. If what you say is true, why come to us? Why not remain safely in your Rim territories? Because we understand what these entities are, Ray replied. And we may have the only technology capable of stopping them. In orbit above Galaxis Prime, Ambassador Jack Harper toured the Council's premier scientific facility, alongside Taurian Emissary Corps. The Taurians had been instrumental in arranging this unprecedented visit, leveraging their position as neutral mediators. Your ships are remarkable, Corps said diplomatically. Our sensors barely register them even when they're directly visible. Harper nodded. Quantum field technology. The same principles that power our medical advances and defensive systems. The very technology you were banished for developing. Ironic, isn't it? Harper smiled without humor. Had the Council supported our research rather than fearing it, Perhaps both our civilizations would have been better prepared for what's coming. They reached a secure laboratory where Council scientists were analyzing data from the lost worlds. Harper noted the primitive nature of their detection equipment, at least primitive by RIM standards. 30 years of isolated development had pushed human technology far beyond the Council's restrictive parameters. Your Council has known about the void entities for some time, Harper said, making it a statement rather than a question. Kor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of discomfort among Taurians. Some in the hegemony encountered them nearly a century ago. The incidents were classified at the highest level, and humanity's banishment? Was that connection also classified? The Taurian's skin paled slightly. I was not privy to those discussions. But you suspected. There were rumors, suggestions that human development was accelerating in a dangerous direction, that it might attract unwanted attention from beyond known space. Harper stopped walking, turning to face the Taurian directly. They used us as a buffer, sent us to the rim hoping we'd either die there or serve as an early warning system when the entities arrived. Kor didn't deny it. The hegemony has ruled the Council for millennia by controlling what lesser species may know and develop. They believed they were protecting the galaxy. By sacrificing billions of humans? By making a strategic decision. Kor's voice lowered. One I and many others disagreed with, which is why we helped your people find habitable worlds in the rim. Harper's anger faded into determination. Well, their strategy worked, but not as they intended. We encountered the entities. We survived, and now we've returned with the only weapons that might save us all. In a secured conference chamber, Commander Ray presented the Orut's defense plan to the Council's military leadership. Admiral Vargas joined via quantum entanglement communication from the rim, a technology that left the Council representatives visibly impressed. The void entities exist partially in a quantum state, Ray explained. This is why conventional weapons and defenses are useless against them. They simply shift out of our reality when threatened. The holographic display showed schematics for a modified version of the quantum defense grid that had protected rim territories for 15 years. Our technology can lock them into normal space-time, making them vulnerable to targeted quantum disruption. The Council's supreme military commander, a heavily augmented being from one of the hegemony species, studied the schematics with obvious skepticism. This would require deploying your technology throughout Council space, he noted, placing our security in human hands. It requires cooperation, Ray corrected. Your shipyards and manufacturing capabilities combined with our technology. Neither of us can defeat this threat alone. And what do you demand in return? Asked another military leader suspiciously. Reinstatement to the Council? Reparations for the banishment? Ray's expression remained neutral, though inwardly she marveled at their arrogance. Even facing extinction, they viewed this as a negotiation where they held the upper hand. We demand nothing. The Outer Rim United Territories is a sovereign power. We don't seek to rejoin what banished us, she paused. But when this crisis is over, we will negotiate as equals for a new relationship between our civilizations. As the military leaders conferred among themselves, Ray received an urgent message on her secure communicator. She excused herself momentarily. Outside the chamber, Harper was waiting, his expression grave. Commander, we have confirmation. A void entity has been detected approaching the Sirius Gateway, the main transit point between the core and mid-rim. Ray processed this. Timeline: 72 hours until contact. Far sooner than our projection suggested. They're accelerating their advance, Ray realized. Have they detected our presence here? Unknown. But if the Sirius Gateway falls, half the Council's major worlds will be cut off from escape routes. Ray's decision was immediate. Deploy the Ascendant Battle Group. We'll demonstrate our defensive capabilities directly. Without Council approval, we didn't come here to ask permission, Ambassador. We came to save lives. She glanced back at the chamber door. Let the Council debate while we act. When they see what we can do, what we've become, they'll understand the new reality. Aboard the Orut flagship Ascendant, Ray took command of the battle group, 5 advanced vessels representing the pinnacle of RIM technology. The quantum fold jump from Galaxis Prime to the Sirius Gateway took mere seconds, a journey that would have required days using Council FTL drives. The gateway itself was an enormous artificial structure, a network of connected rings that created stable wormhole passages to key systems. Hundreds of ships passed through it daily, making it the lifeblood of Council commerce and travel. Void entity approaching from Vector 227, reported the tactical officer. Estimated arrival, 40 minutes. Deploy quantum anchor buoys in standard containment pattern, Ray ordered. All ships prepare Phase 1 defensive positions. As the crew carried out her commands, Ray opened a channel to the Council administrative station overlooking the gateway. Council Station Sirius Actual. This is Commander Ray of the Orad Ascendant. We are deploying defensive measures against an imminent threat to the gateway. Please begin immediate evacuation of all civilian vessels from the sector. The Council Administrator's face appeared on screen, showing confusion and alarm. Unauthorized vessels, you have entered restricted space. Stand down and prepare to be boarded.